As the man was about to throw out the trash, he suddenly heard the faint sound of a baby crying from inside the trash bin. Curious, he approached to take a look. When he opened the lid, he found a poor baby inside. John quickly pulled the baby out of the trash bin. Due to the cold temperature at night, he decided, for safety reasons, to temporarily take the baby back to the restaurant. Staring at the adorable infant, John felt completely at a loss. Then, he found a note in the baby's bag, with the baby's name written on it, Ella. He couldn't help but wonder how heartless the parents must have been to abandon their child in a trash bin. John had spent 20 years in prison, and that day, he had finally regained his freedom. However, after being cut off from the outside world for so long and having no skills, John was only able to land a job doing odd tasks at a restaurant. He had thought his life would continue in this quiet, uneventful way, but Ella's appearance completely disrupted his peaceful existence. John took Ella back to his rented apartment, but soon after, Ella began crying again. John didn't know what to do, so he did his best to try and make her happy. Miraculously, Ella stopped crying when she saw him, and within moments, she had fallen asleep. Just then, the police showed up. Their intention was to check if John, freshly released from prison, was staying out of trouble. After John patiently explained, the police began to relax and started to believe that he was just an ordinary citizen now. But soon, they heard the baby crying from inside the apartment. One of the kind-hearted officers, seeing John's concern, gave him some professional advice. He suggested that John gently massage the baby's belly to help alleviate any possible gas pain. Once the officers left, John went back to Ella. He was filled with worry and uncertainty as he saw her crying again, so he decided to try the officers' advice. To his surprise, Ella stopped crying, and John finally felt a sense of relief. The next day, Ella started crying again, this time because she was hungry. Desperate, John rushed to the supermarket to buy some formula and baby supplies. But for John, who had just been released from prison, the outside world felt completely foreign. Standing in front of the shelves full of products, he felt overwhelmed and unsure of what to choose. Fortunately, a kind supermarket employee helped him navigate the situation. She patiently showed him how to pick the right formula and bottles and even shared some parenting tips and personal experiences. This information was invaluable to John, but as he thought about Ella waiting at home, his anxiety grew again. He hurriedly ended the conversation and rushed back home with the items he had bought. In his haste, he accidentally dropped everything on the floor, making him even more anxious and worried about wasting time that could affect Ella's safety. When John finally returned home, out of breath, he was relieved to find Ella lying quietly on the bed, looking up at him. At that moment, all his fatigue and anxiety vanished, replaced by a profound sense of happiness as a father. He promised himself that he would protect Ella and let her grow up in a loving and happy environment. He started learning how to use the internet and searched for information on baby care. Suddenly, an article caught his attention. The article advised against adopting babies that were found, warning that such actions might be considered illegal or even seen as kidnapping. For someone like John, freshly released from prison, the warning made him very anxious. John then took Ella to the beach for some fresh air. He found a comfortable chair to sit in, and as he looked at Ella sleeping peacefully in his arms, he felt a deep sense of gratitude. He didn't know how long this happiness would last, but as long as Ella was with him, he would give everything for her.